This could not possibly get any worse. At least, I hope not. If you can't tell, that's my way of foreshadowing. Hello, and welcome back to the writing logs. This is writing log number 4. Today, we are going to be going back through some of my old drafts, and we're going to read through them, and we're going to have a goof and a gaff. We're going to go through the goofy ones, okay? I know I'm wearing the same outfit as yesterday, but it is a new day. It is the morning, as you can tell by the lighting. It's bright outside. I usually record these when it's dark, so that I can get that bisexual lighting. No bisexual lighting today, because the sun is out, and I don't have a way to block the sun, alright? I mean, I'm fat, but I'm not that fat. If you don't know, if you're new here, I am writing a novel, but to take the pressure off of writing a novel, I'm writing a fan fiction that can very easily be changed at the end by simply switching the main characters' names around. Well, one of the main characters' names around. The rest of the main characters are all OCs anyway, so it doesn't matter. In my last video in Writing Log 3, I took a deep dive and started reading some of my old drafts, okay? Like, the very first drafts of the story. The unedited, raw, just sitting there on Scrivener first drafts that I haven't thought about in a year. And today we're going to continue this trend, but I'm specifically going to go to like scenes that are like really random and scenes that I think are kind of funny and also are nothing like the story now. At its core, it's about this girl who's a spy who's tasked with spying on billionaire CEO Malcolm Merlin and stealing some of his private information, I guess you could say. And then, shenanigans ensue because every single character that she runs into is someone from her past. In the first draft of the story, there was a character called Liz, okay? And Liz is kind of iconic. Every time I write something, I always add in, like, a quirky best friend character who just tells it like it is. And she's so quirky XD. I always add that, like, this really bubbly character. There's always gotta be some bubbly bitch in my story. When I did my first major rewrite, I deleted Liz because I added a new character who would kind of take the place of the quirky best friend. Also, this is gonna sound crazy, but in my first draft, Super Spy Jessica, she was not his assistant. She had a different job at Merlin Global, and I think Liz was the assistant. I don't remember why I did that. In my new draft, Jessica is the assistant, because that just makes more sense. Like, instead of going for the direct route, I always like to go the roundabout way, okay? Make things more complicated than they need to be. And so most of the times when I do a rewrite, it is to decomplicate the needless complications that I add. If you haven't seen Writing Log number 3, I think Liz's most iconic scene ever is in the end of Writing Log 3. Gold shoes? With that out of the way, let's start reading. Okay, let's read some of this slop, okay? Please don't judge it too hard. This is unedited, okay? I take a lot of time editing my shit. The things I'm about to be reading to you are unedited slop. Here's some context you need for the scene, okay? In this version of the story, Malcolm Merlin is spying on all of his employees using spy pens. Jessica, super spy extraordinaire, discovered the pens, and she was, like, purposefully saying really insane shit into them, like, just to see what would happen. Apparently, Liz is one of the characters who is listening into the pens, so here's the scene here's that scene. Let's have a listen. Liz looks around before she says, "It's not up to him either." "What do you mean?" I ask. "Do you have a pen on you?" she asks. "Yes," I say, handing it to her. She takes it and taps it against something that looks like a magnet, likely disabling it. When she's done, she asks, "Have you heard anything about Mr. Merlin's previous assistant?" "No." "She was barely 21, and she was..." Okay. She was barely 21, and she was... I can't read that. Who wrote this? Who wrote this shit? Okay. I need to channel Liz. I haven't channeled Liz. Channel Liz. Channeling. "She was barely 21, and she was all tits and no brain. When I got the job, it took me months to catch up on all the shit she left unfinished. But she didn't get fired for being an idiot. She was fired after Mrs. Merlin found out about the affair." What does this have to do with spy pens, I wonder? But she continues. That was a needless thought. I fear in a revision I could delete that. But she continues. "Ever since then, Mrs. Merlin has been involved in hiring his assistants. I only got the job because I assured her there was no way history would repeat itself. But the rest of the women on the top floor, how could she be sure they weren't screwing her husband?" Oh. Oh shit. And that's in italics, because that's a thought that girly pop super spy extraordinaire is having. Yeah, she says, seeing the realization on my face. And you're a person of interest after all of those little comments you've been making, and the not so little comments too. Look, I was just joking about all that. I knew it was a listening device, so I was just trying to say the craziest things I could think of. Good luck explaining that to her. I'm literally the worst spy in history. No shit, bitch. The worst written spy in history, too. How about that? How about double insult? Boom, roasted. Whoever wrote this, fucking moron. First, I fail Mr. Merlin's obvious test of trust, and now his wife thinks I want to screw him. This could not possibly get any worse. At least, I hope not. If you can't tell, that's my way of foreshadowing. That's my way of fucking weird-ass sarcastic foreshadowing. Oh, this couldn't possibly get any worse. Vine boom. So, besides you and Mrs. Merlin, does anyone else listen to these? I ask. She nods. There's nothing that happens at this company that he doesn't know about. Right. I bet their family dinners have been awkward these past few weeks. Elizabeth laughs. You have no idea how right you are. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this information. What a fucking stupid scene. Hey, whoever wrote this, you should stop writing, because, you suck at it. You suck at writing Major Big L, okay? Also, bring back Liz. Petition to bring back Liz? I'm trying to remember what I wrote, and I just really can't. I think that she was given, like, okay, here's the thing. In this first version, Jessica's whole job at the company is basically to, like, cover up weird shit that Malcolm does. I don't understand what she was supposed to do. I really don't. It was like she's only here to, like, help him forge checks. It's weird. I know it's weird, and I did change it. Okay, so get off my ass. She doesn't do that in the new version. But let's just read this. I start under the assumption that he just doesn't trust me, which seems like the most plausible conclusion. He knows I like to dig around, and there was no way I wouldn't investigate the $1 million money trail. And I do. I spend all of my free time tracking down this money, but everything leads to dead ends. I eventually find something unmistakable. A signature, clearly Denise's handiwork, on a check for $1 million. So I pay her a visit, making sure to spritz some perfume before I enter her office. Right, because Denise, she doesn't like smelly people. Denise hates bad smells. Right, yeah. We all know this about Denise. That's her only character trait, is that she is snobby and she hates people who smell bad. About a month ago, you forged a check, I state plainly. Denise sighs. Darling, I forge checks every day. You'll have to be more specific. I do believe I wrote Denise to be British in the first draft. So it would be more like, darling, I do believe Denise was meant to be like that one random British character that's just like here for no reason. You know how it is. I think I did it as a joke to piss off Hannah, my friend Hannah. She's the reason that I started writing this in the first place. And she's basically British. She's not. She thinks she is, though. She wishes she was British. And so I just made Denise British to be funny as a joke. This was for $1 million, I inform her. I see the spark of recognition in her eyes. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you do. No, I don't. But I do know you shouldn't be involved. She's glaring at me, visibly angry. Okay, bitch, visibly angry and glaring at me? That's redundant, okay? She's either visibly angry or she's glaring at you. We don't need to say both. That's something I struggle with, is like being obtuse when I write. It's like I don't trust that people will listen to will read all of the words. It's like, okay, how do I make it very clear that she's mad? But this is a first draft, okay? And this was never edited properly, and if it was edited properly, I would have changed that. I like to go above and beyond. That's Jessica talking. You'll go above and beyond to the grave if you don't leave my office right this instant. You'll go above and beyond to the grave? Girl, what? What was that? That insult needs a rework. That needs a redo. That's dumb. Nobody would say that. And if somebody IRL did say that to me, I would laugh in their face and be like, that's the best you could come up with? You're going above and beyond to the grave? You know, they can't all be winners, right? you don't always write a banger on your first go. And, neither does whoever wrote this, right? Because that wasn't me. In my first draft, Jessica's last name was different, and I recently changed it because it was like, that's fucking stupid, so I changed it. And I changed it to the last name that Liz originally had, and I totally forgot that I did that. So Liz does live on. She lives on in spirit in the main character. Oh my god. Bless. I love Liz. I miss Liz. Every day, I think about that OC that I created who said, gold shoes with a salmon colored dress? Absolutely not. Originally, Jessica had a missing finger. I took that out because I realized that it would make her more suspicious if she was missing a finger. Like, think about it, right? Somebody gets murdered, and all of the witnesses say that there was a woman with a missing finger at the scene of the murder. She's going to look suspicious. There's going to be headlines about that. No one's ever going to trust her. And I fear something like that might be easily found in a background check. So I took the finger and I gave it back to her. But I want to mention there was a line that I wrote referencing the finger, and I think about this constantly. Here's the sentence. Okay, so this is the job interview. Malcolm is interviewing Jessica, and he asks her what happened to her finger, and then she explains her fake backstory for the finger, and then he's like, that sounds painful, and she's like, yeah, it was. And then the next sentence after that says, the CEO laced his fingers together as if flaunting their quantity. I thought I cooked with that. And that's where we're gonna leave it. Stay tuned for writing log number 5. I don't know what I'm gonna do in number 5. I think I'm done with exposing my old drafts for now. I think I'll probably do a video on something else next. No one is watching this. That's a-okay with me. Okay, maybe one day when I get rich and famous and then people come back and these logs are still available, that's when people will watch them. Okay, these are for the future. These are for my future fans. Okay. Thumbnail. Okay, bye.